That late night the star actress and Ha sent me a message. I like you. Can you be my boyfriend? Since I went to bed early, I didn't see a thing. An hour later, she sent another I'm sorry. My little sister took my phone and sent it by mistake. Please don't misunderstand. Let's still be friends, okay? I'm begging you. Don't tell anyone, please. Just this one message. The internet exploded. Ice Queen and Ha secretly confesses at midnight. It shot straight to the top of the trending searches. The next morning, I looked at the trending searches utterly speechless. Waking up this morning, I opened my phone and the world had changed color. My eyes still bleary with sleep. I saw my manager had called me a dozen times. I jolted upright like a gravely ill patient. My mind frantically replayed everything I'd done recently. Racking my brain, I couldn't figure it out. What could have prompted him to call so relentlessly like he was chasing my soul? Before the calls came, I deliberately checked the trending searches once. Nothing major, but Sue White Pearl was dominating several trending spots. Only then did I realize there seemed to be a dozen unread messages from her on WeChat. I switched to WeChat and opened them. The sky fell, the earth cracked. Last night at 10:10 she sent, I like you. Can you be my boyfriend? I'd gone to bed early for once, so I missed it entirely. An hour later she followed up, I can't take it. My little sister took my phone and sent it by mistake. Please don't misunderstand. Really don't misunderstand. Let's still be friends, okay? Can you not tell anyone? Every word, every sentence brimming with her pride. And because I went to bed early, missed an entire drama. So White Pearl was heartbroken to the point of despair. She'd meant to quietly vent on her side account, but in her sadness she accidentally posted on her main account, and so it gloriously hit the trending searches. So White Pearl, the maddest clown in Gotham City, the Joker card big or small in the deck. Can you not tell anyone? No sooner said than she posted it herself on Weibo. Joe Clark Lee's main account, the pillar of the house, the biggest ace in the deck, the mascot of McDonald's, the big boss of Gotham City. People watched the spectacle. Some looked in the mirror. The internet's failure warmed people's hearts. So White Pearl's failure warmed my heart twice over. Guess why I couldn't laugh? The sky was a deep blue. Outside the window, 1,000 paper cranes. The literary flair of netizens made me both marvel and tremble. Thank heavens. The nickname Sue White Pearl gave me was a heart. So everyone only knew she'd confessed and failed, but no one knew it was me. Of course, except for my manager, Mr. Young. Because my profile picture was a landscape photo I took, he recognized it immediately. Over the phone, he confirmed my profile picture had never been public. He breathed a sigh of relief. He was relieved, but I wasn't. So White Pearl sent a flood of messages like that, and I had no idea how to respond. I thought it over and decided to explain a bit. The result was a resounding success. I got a glaring red exclamation mark in return. Great playing like that, huh? So White Pearl even deliberately posted a Weibo. If deleted him, he won't hurt me anymore, will he? Why does she imagine so much on her own? So many things that happened. So many things that didn't leading to this scene. Even more devastated than Sue White Pearl. It must be her team. I could imagine if I'd caused this. Mr. Young would let out a piercing scream. The trending search hung there all day. By evening, the heat finally died down. Just as I was about to sigh in relief, a young actor who'd worked with Sue White Pearl stiffly jumped in and posted a Weibo. No content at all, just a landscape photo. If you didn't look closely, it was almost identical to my profile picture. Netizens went wild with speculation. The one Sue White Pearl confessed to and failed must be him. Her fans saw it and furiously attacked him online. Posting this now, it's hard not to think Hayes riding the wave of attention. No way, really. Even if it was you, you already rejected Sue White Pearl. What's the point of posting this now? What are you doing? Riding the wave without thinking. One photo proves nothing. I have tons of landscape photos like that in my phone. I could say I'm the one Sue White Pearl likes. The internet was a storm of blood and rain. That guy probably saw the backlash wasn't good and hurriedly deleted the Weibo post. And I, the real protagonist, stood on the sidelines crazily watching the drama. watching the heat keep climbing. To keep things from escalating further, So White Pearl's team spent heavily to pull the trending search. The situation had developed this far. Logically, in a few days, this would completely die down. But the fatal thing was, the very next day, I had to join Sue White Pearl on a noon talk show. My dangling heart finally died completely. Mr. Yang, from the moment we got in the car too, when we got out, kept nagging me, telling me to confront Sue White Pearl. Best not to even make eye contact with her. The result was, as soon as I opened the car door, I came face-to-face with Sue White Pearl wearing sunglasses, clearly in a bad mood. She hugged her face, her gaze meeting mine. I couldn't see her eyes behind the sunglasses, but I felt her mood grow even darker when she saw me. She looked away first, quickly stepping inside, but she was surrounded by fans like a flood. I'd meant to keep my distance, following her inside, but I was pushed right next to her. I could only force a smile and greet her teacher, Sue. Long time no see. She awkwardly turned her head away, not looking at me, softly saying one line, "Long time no see." It was a struggle to finally get into the studio. Sue White Pearl immediately quickened her pace, as if afraid I'd catch up, looking like she was fleeing from me. Mr. Yang watched her retreating figure and sighed. Who would thought someone like Sue White Pearl, who seems so experienced in love, could be tormented by it too? So experienced in love, what a strange descriptor. After he said that, he turned to look at me. I'm curious, why did you reject her, can you say? I just fell asleep. When I woke up, she'd already imagined an entire drama, giving me no chance to shine. Before the official recording, I stepped out of the restroom and heard a familiar voice nearby. I walked closer to check and found Sue White Pearl talking to her manager. My little ancestor, do you really have to wear sunglasses on stage? Do you know? Doing this, people will say you're being dramatic. Don't you think the trending searches are enough? Sue White Pearl listened, clearly annoyed. My eyes are this swollen. If I don't wear sunglasses, how can I face anyone? Who told you to cry all night? It's just a failed confession. Was it worth that? Sue White Pearl immediately flared up. Why wasn't it worth it? He's here today. Don't I need any dignity? A failed confession is humiliating enough. If he knows I cried, it's even worse. Alright, she doesn't need sunglasses anymore, because I heard everything. In my mind, I couldn't help but picture Sue White Pearl in the dead of night, eyes red, facing our messages and crying. Don't say it, really don't. Compared to her usual haughty image, it's far more captivating. In the end, Sue White Pearl didn't wear sunglasses on stage. She used concealer to cover it up. Maybe because I overheard, I glanced and saw her slightly swollen red eyes. On stage, she kept avoiding my gaze. A few times I accidentally caught her eye, and she'd shift her gaze away. Completely the no silver 300 tales here vibe. The purpose of this show was for guests to directly discuss small trending love stories online, or chat snippets. Because of the bold theme, the viewership for each episode was sky high. I knew they played big, but I didn't expect them to go this big. Right from the start, they threw out Sue White Pearl's confession chat from yesterday. They even blurred both profile pictures, as if to conceal them. The guests there looked at each other. No one dared speak. The host, as if anticipating the situation, directly called out the protagonist, asking him to say what the male lead was thinking. Damn it! Why are they suddenly guessing my thoughts? Sue White Pearl resentfully glanced at the chat, trying hard not to look at me. I said a bit softly, what could he be thinking? He just doesn't like her. What's with this act of being deeply hurt by a jerk? What's going on? The protagonist said that, and the other guests started chiming in. But for every comment someone made, Sue White Pearl countered with one. I think he might be playing hard to get, stringing her along. No way. He's not that kind of person. Clearly, he's treating her like a joke. No, he's really kind. I think he just enjoys being chased. Nonsense. He wouldn't do that. The more I listened, the more embarrassed I got. The people there were increasingly at a loss for words, and the livestream comments had exploded. I'm telling Sue White Pearl not to love so deeply. Just reveal his ID number already. I'm saying they haven't even started. and she's already thrown out all her big moves. She's really making me cry. She looks like she's about to shatter, yet she's still defending him. I suggest Sue White Pearl go to the Love Rescue show next door. This show isn't for her. After asking everyone, the host looked at me. I instinctively glanced at Sue White Pearl. She looked nervous. I said slowly, "Is it possible he just fell asleep and didn't see the message?" As soon as I said that, the studio erupted. "No way, absolutely not. That's ridiculous. I don't believe it." The comments and everyone there didn't believe it. Only Sue White Pearl slowly raised her head, looking at me, her voice carrying a hint of hope. "Really? Of course it's true. Because that person is me." The comments saw Sue White Pearl like that, and were exasperated. "God, wake up, girl. She actually believes this. Who would thought I'd find common ground between Sue White Pearl and my blindly in love friend? Got it, my friend loves blindly. Sue White Pearl loves blindly too. So my friend and Sue White Pearl are the same type. I dare not think if the guy she confessed to said he fell asleep, she'd probably be begging to add him back on WeChat. Go back half an hour." I said, "Sue White Pearl should add him back and ask clearly." The host glanced at the comment, saw the last line, and suddenly got an idea. "How about this? Sue White Pearl, add that guy back now. See if he responds." They're calling out Sue White Pearl directly. What's the point of blurring anything? I can say right now he won't respond, because that guy's sitting on stage. Watching the drama, Sue White Pearl didn't think twice and refused. "He's busy. He probably won't see it." The host didn't give up asking, "How about calling to clear things up?" I heard that and immediately tensed up. No way are they messing with Sue White Pearl. Or with me. Sue White Pearl was silent for a few seconds. Slightly disappointed, she said, "I don't have his phone number. His WeChat." I had to ask so many people to get it. Just sitting there saying that, with her Budo shatter expression. After hearing it, for some reason, I felt like I'd become the villain. The host didn't say more, showing a bit of sympathy. Recording episode 7, I was like sitting on pins and needles, like standing on coals, like a bone stuck in my throat. When it ended, I was packing up to leave, and saw Sue White Pearl standing at the door, like she was waiting for me. Seeing me, she pursed her lips. Her voice hoarse, she asked, "Was it true you said you fell asleep?" Seeing I didn't speak, she quickly added, "Of course, if it's not true, it's fine. If you just didn't want to reply, that's fine too. Or if you don't like me, that's okay. I'm just asking. Really just asking." I looked at her trying to act nonchalant and found it a bit funny. "Really okay." She looked at me, didn't say anything. She lowered her head, seemingly aggrieved, saying, "It matters. It matters a lot." Sue White Pearl lowered her head. I felt like she was about to cry. No wonder netizens say, watching her cry feels shattering. Today, I finally witnessed it. It's true, I really fell asleep. I figured this had to be cleared up sooner or later. Might as well take the chance now. Sue White Pearl looked up, her eyes sparkling with joy. She wanted to say something, but her manager rushed over and pulled her away, retreating while still exasperated. "Sue White Pearl, I can't with you. Barely 2 minutes off stage, and you're running to him. Do you need him to reject you clearly to give up?" Sue White Pearl was about to struggle, but saw Mr. Yang come to pull me away, and had to give up. Her manager kept nagging. Sue White Pearl didn't listen to a word. "She's not that heartless. He just fell asleep. I know he's not that rude. I was too sensitive." She said and said, then grew dejected. "I really regret deleting his WeChat now. Look at this. You'll have to go to great lengths to add him back." I really didn't cherish it. Hearing her last line, the corner of my mouth twitched up. Mr. Yang saw and frowned. "Didn't I tell you to stay away from Sue White Pearl? I can control myself, but I can't control Sue White Pearl." Mr. Yang nagged me until we got in the car. In that moment, I suddenly thought, Sue White Pearl and I are the modern cowherd and weaver girl. Two people in love forced apart. As soon as the thought came, I immediately scolded myself inwardly, all because I ship couples too much usually. Now look, I'm shipping myself because of Sue White Pearl's words. These past few days, whenever I had a moment, I kept thinking, how would she try to add my WeChat back? But after waiting days, she made no move. Just when I was about to forget the whole thing, Mr. Young brought me a script. He excitedly called me. This script is amazing. It's about a female lead who likes the male lead. After confessing, she gets shy and starts avoiding him. The male lead, because of this, starts noticing her and ends up liking her too. I thought this story sounded familiar. It couldn't really be written by Sue White Pearl, could it? The more I listened, the more uneasy I felt. I asked who the female lead was. Mr. Yang got even more excited. It's Sue White Pearl. An unexpected but reasonable answer. What surprised me more was Mr. Yang's attitude. Didn't you tell me to stay away from Sue White Pearl? It's different. Everyone knows. Sue White Pearl has an eye for picking scripts. Either they blow up or they're critically acclaimed. If you take this film, it'll definitely be a hit. Mr. Yang painted a picture of the glorious life after I become a star. Not long after signing the contract, Kwon Bo made an announcement. What I didn't expect was the second male lead was Stiff Guy. The day before shooting started, the director held a party, saying all the main actors should attend. When I entered the private room, it was already full. Only the seat next to Sue White Pearl was left. Sue White Pearl glanced at me, then awkwardly took a sip from her glass. I hesitated for a moment and walked to the seat next to her. The director saw me sit down and joked that the male and female leads together make a perfect pair. Sue White Pearl heard and her lips curved up. Then she turned to check my expression. Seeing I wasn't fazed, she smiled even brighter. I hadn't worked with anyone here before, but I still felt eyes on me. I looked up and saw Stiff Guy hurriedly look away. He didn't look like he'd been caught, but more like he was shy after seeing his idol. I immediately realized he wasn't looking at me, but at Sue White Pearl. The director kept painting grand visions, talking about the film's bright prospects. I couldn't get a word in, so I just ate voraciously. The table was huge, and every time it turned to me, it was a dish I liked. I turned to look at Sue White Pearl. She saw me looking and quickly pulled her hand back from the rotating table, pretending nothing happened. I smiled and said nothing. Near the end, Sue White Pearl's expression grew more nervous. I saw her constantly looking anxious, like she had something left undone. Curious, I watched her from the corner of my eye and saw her signal the director. The director didn't react at first, then glanced at me, suddenly realizing he said to everyone, "Since we're in the same film crew, we're one family." Everyone at each other on WeChat. Sue White Pearl sat up straight, even more nervous, but quietly took her phone from her bag and placed it very close to me, so close it almost slipped into my pocket. So that's it. Silent for days, too shy to contact me, and came up with this plan. Don't say it, it's kind of cute. I smiled, took out my phone to fiddle with, but didn't say anything to Sue White Pearl. After about 3 minutes, she couldn't hold back. Just as she was about to speak, she saw Stiff Guy walk toward us. I saw him and deliberately moved aside to give them space to talk, but Stiff Guy stopped in front of me, carefully holding out his phone, saying, "Teacher Ann, can I add your WeChat?" This plot twist is a bit odd. I was slightly surprised. Looking up in confusion, I blurted out, "Aren't you adding Sue White Pearl?" Stiff Guy glanced at Sue White Pearl, saying, "I'm a fan turned CP fan. I'll add you instead." Fan turned CP fan. He's my fan. Still shocked, I took out my phone. He left satisfied, leaving me still reeling, and Sue White Pearl extremely unhappy. She stared at my phone screen, determinedly asked me, "Can I add your WeChat back?" I snapped back to reality, looking at Sue White Pearl's expectant eyes. Smiling, I said, "Of course you can." Her eyes lit up, but the spark dimmed a bit. "You have to tell me first. The first time you added me, was the wrong bag excuse true?" Sue White Pearl listened, her expression instantly serious. Very seriously saying, "Of course it's true." She said it, then looked a bit guilty, not daring to meet my eyes. "It's just that I realized you got the wrong bag and didn't remind you. I thought an opportunity came knocking, I had to seize it. Then you deleted me right after." Sue White Pearl immediately shut her mouth, thought for a moment, and explained, I thought you must have been embarrassed, so I didn't want to make it hard for you. I'm not embarrassed. Su White Pearl shook her head, just felt sad. I held back my racing heart, opened my phone and held it out to her. She looked up at me. I smiled and said, "Don't delete me this time, okay?" Su White Pearl's hand trembled as she held her phone. She scanned the QR code. I pressed accept. Then, I stared as she changed my WeChat nickname to Two Hearts and pinned it to the top. I opened my mouth, but ultimately said nothing. Good thing I have morals. Otherwise, with Su White Pearl like this, I'd lose control. When it ended, Mr. Yang came to pick me up. I stood at the door waiting for the car. Stiff guy excitedly ran over. As soon as he arrived, he stunned me. "Teacher An, are you and Su White Pearl dating?" You two were sitting together talking and smiling. Sweeter than all the candy I've ever seen. As someone who loves shipping couples, I totally get his excitement right now. But he's shipping me with someone else. I didn't speak. He continued, "If I'm not wrong, the one Su White Pearl confessed to was you, right, Teacher An?" I turned in shock to look at him. "How did you know? I've been your fan for ages. Every photo you post I look at." The moment I saw the profile picture in Su White Pearl's chat, I thought of you. You posted a similar photo in the fan group. The photography style is identical, though it's a landscape photo. I saw your favorite hat in it, so I figured it was you. Hearing Stiff Guy say that, I suddenly felt a huge sense of satisfaction. To be honest, I only meant to post that similar photo on my side account, but I accidentally posted it on my main. He gave an awkward smile. I smiled back. My tone softened as I asked why he became a CP fan. At first, I was thrilled someone liked you. Of course, I had to check what kind of person they were. I followed Su White Pearl's main account and all her info. Searched and searched. Finally found her side account. And I was stunned. Su White Pearl's side account was filled to the brim with stuff about you, recording every moment she liked you. If I didn't know better, I'd think you two had been in love for years. Candy like this, of course I devoured it. The wind blew against my face. I sobered up for a moment, but still couldn't tell truth from fiction. Stiff Guy saw I wasn't talking, came closer and said, "Teacher An, should I send you Su White Pearl's side account?" Don't rush to agree with her. I love Su White Pearl's ambiguous phase the most. At that moment, 1,000 thoughts of gratitude ran through my mind. In the end, I still asked Stiff Guy for Su White Pearl's side account. I don't have many hobbies in life, just love gossip, especially gossip about myself. The latest Weibo post from White Pearl was still from before that confession day. She posted about to confess success means happy sheet, failure means gray Wolf. I glanced at her ID. Happy Wolf is Dawn Promise's nickname. I scrolled back up. Every post was about me. Every drama, every show of mine. She didn't miss a single one. And her very first Weibo post was the day she got my WeChat. She wrote, "Is my story with him about to start?" Below that, there was a comment from after the failed confession. "It hasn't started and it's already over. Heartbroken Happy Wolf posted a month ago." If someone told me this was Su White Pearl, I'd definitely check them into a mental hospital to fix their brain, to see if they're going crazy. In just a short month, Su White Pearl's refined image in my mind plummeted. I immediately exited, flipped to Su White Pearl's main account, found some pretty photos of her to balance it out. After looking, I went to bed satisfied. When I opened my eyes again, the world had changed again. Mr. Yang called me over a dozen times. I thought Su White Pearl posted something again. Opened Weibo to check and I was the one stunned. The good news is, Su White Pearl didn't do anything. The bad news is I'm done for. Last night, I slipped and liked Su White Pearl's post. Not even the worst part. The worst part is it was a photo of her ABS. So I wasn't sleeping at midnight, looking at Su White Pearl's ABS. What's with this? I like looking too. Who doesn't like looking? Su White Pearl's figure and face are flawless. You can imagine Su White Pearl's expression, probably as stunned as mine. It's not like I was riding the wave, right? I don't think it's riding the wave. I'm just a boy who likes admiring a beauty's ABS. What did I do wrong? I thank all the netizens for speaking up for me, but they're calling me a creep. That's not the most important thing. The most important thing is, if Sue White Pearl sees this trending search, I can't imagine how embarrassed I'd be. The WeChat I just added yesterday. Is it too late to delete now? I explained to Mr. Yang forever. Meant to say it was a slip. But that excuse is a bit weak. In the end, I thought it over and posted a Weibo. This story teaches us to admire beauties, use a side account. I calmed my emotions and went to the film's opening ceremony like a dead man. The first thing Sue White Pearl did when she saw me was burst into laughter. Seeing her smile, it was a bit teasing, but mostly joyful. She tried to hold it in, but her lips still curved up. Even her cheeks were slightly red. I turned away to avoid her, only to meet the stiff guy standing to the side eagerly gossiping. I really can't survive a single day in this film crew. As fate would have it, the worst luck. Today we filmed the exact scene where the male lead sees the female lead's mermaid line. Fate loves to toy with me before the official shoot. The director was talking to the assistant director. Sue White Pearl's figure isn't bad. You can tell she trains a lot. I overheard absent-mindedly. The next second I heard my name. And you agree, right? The director gave me a suggestive glance. Netizens scroll fast. It just happened yesterday, and today I'm already being teased. I smiled awkwardly. At that moment, Sue White Pearl walked out of the dressing room, her shirt button sloppily fastened. Water droplets from her hair slid past her collarbone, the mermaid line faintly visible under her shirt. Just one glance, and one felt the heat rising on my face. In my mind, I kept telling myself I'm a professional actor, to brainwash myself. During the rehearsal, Sue White Pearl and I couldn't quite get into character. We didn't even dare look into each other's eyes. The director wasn't annoyed, just smiled and sighed. Youth is great. During the official shoot, Sue White Pearl's gaze went from initial shyness to instantly full of allure. Look, finally there's a hint of her old haughty image. I pulled myself from reality into the scene. She suddenly reached out and pulled me into her arms. She spoke her enchanting lines, but her ears kept turning red. Who could resist this contrast? At least I couldn't. The director was very satisfied, calling it a one-take success. Sue White Pearl, who was relaxed a moment ago, instantly tensed up. She let go of me. I hurriedly fixed the loose shirt buttons. During the break, I sat in a chair reviewing the script. Sue White Pearl lingered for half a day, finally sitting beside me. She hesitated another half day, finally asking, was that like yesterday a slip? Couldn't hold back after half a day, huh? My hand flipping the script didn't stop. I casually said it wasn't a slip. Then why? Because I liked it. A sudden critical hit left Sue White Pearl stunned for a long time. I closed the script, leaned toward the dazed Sue White Pearl, saying I liked that photo. I also liked the figure in it. Sue White Pearl waited half a day for the next line. Her throat bobbed up and down. Her voice hoarse, she asked, what about the person in the photo? The person in the photo. Someone told me not to rush to agree with her. Sue White Pearl frowned, displeased, asking who said that. I thought for a moment. Said it was the CP fan leader Ginger Will. These past few days, whenever he's free, he comes to watch me and Sue White Pearl, under the pretense of learning from his seniors. He's clearly using work to ship CP. Sue White Pearl heard me, was momentarily speechless, not knowing what to say. So what does the main guy think? I stood up with the script, saying to her, that depends on the other main person's performance. From the moment I said that, Sue White Pearl really started performing. She even used her side account to follow several love bloggers and diligently applied what she learned to pursuing me. On this, I stayed silent because I really didn't believe a love blogger would teach someone to pursue by gifting a Stitch Kingming Festival scroll. Sue White Pearl's tuition fees are steep. A few days later was the year-end red carpet. Sue White Pearl and I, both with films airing, walked the red carpet separately. At the venue, she and I were several people apart. No chance to interact at all. Until I went on stage to accept an award. Her eyes kept following me. I was really afraid of the netizens' microscope eyes. The whole event I deliberately didn't look at her. After it ended, I came out unscathed. But Sue White Pearl hit the trending searches. The reason was she was holding her phone taking photos, caught by netizens. It was when I was on stage accepting the award, since several other male stars were also receiving awards. Netizens started speculating, so the one Sue White Pearl confessed to must be among these 5. So thrilling it's like becoming Conan. I refuse, isn't it Ginger Will? Ginger Will is clearly riding the wave. Wait, when Sue White Pearl was taking photos, she seemed to say something. Anyone read her lips? Lip reading expert here, she said handsome. I watched the video once. Indeed, it was handsome. I said netizens have microscope eyes. This practically solves the case. The most handsome one isn't Ha. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Our thinking he's handsome doesn't matter. So White Pearl thinking he's handsome does. Who is it really? I'm scratching my head losing sleep over this. Ha ha ha. The funny thing is none of these guys looked at Sue White Pearl. She's really got unrequited love. Before I finished reading the comments, Ginger Will sent me a voice message. I know who Sue White Pearl was photographing. It was you. There's drama and I'm dying not to share. She even said handsome. God, it's too good to gossip about. When are you two getting together? Didn't you say not to rush to agree with her? The ambiguous phase is the best to gossip about now. I regret it. I wish you two would marry right now. I sat at the main table. Netizens dug around for half a day. Still couldn't confirm who it was. In the end, it fizzled out. After the red carpet, we filmed for over 2 months and wrapped. The final scene was a wedding. She walked out of the fitting room in a wedding dress. I was adjusting my tie. Seeing her, my hands froze. A flash of awe and longing in my eyes. Staring too long, the director couldn't take it. Walked over and patted her shoulder, saying with an expression like that, now, what will you do when you actually get married? I said, come on, we're almost done filming. How have you not won her over yet? Sue White Pearl looked away, gazing at the sunlight outside, murmuring it's coming soon. During the official shoot, besides Sue White Pearl, Ginger Will was the most excited person there. I don't know where he got a huge firework aimed at us, snapping photos wildly, clicking and exclaiming, when I have money, I'll definitely invest to let you to act out all my favorite plots. The first time filming a wedding, I was a bit nervous. The director guided us a few times before I found the feeling. So White Pearl held the wedding vows and started reading the first line. I already felt something was off. It was completely different from the script. And Sue White Pearl's gaze didn't seem like she was reading lines, but pouring out her true feelings. I listened, my eyes gradually reddened. In the end, I couldn't hold back and stepped forward to hug her. After the hug, I realized the script didn't have this part at all. Damn it! I was bewitched by Sue White Pearl's face again. The director didn't call cut. Instead, he thought our improvisation was excellent. I looked at the director and Ginger Will's identical smiles and stayed silent. Our film crew is probably doomed. Everyone's just shipping CP and we're done filming. That day, I drank a few bottles of alcohol. Not drunk, but my head was still a bit dizzy. I'd meant to use the alcohol to talk to Sue White Pearl, but didn't expect she drank even more than me. So much she couldn't recognize people. When it ended, I had to call her manager to come pick her up. But right after the call, I turned and she was gone. I panicked instantly, searched forever and found her outside. At that moment, she was pulling a dog, talking to it. Is it you? Are you the CP fan leader? What kind of CP fan are you? Daring to ruin my romance. Poor stiff guy's heart must have been racing with 10,000 are you polite thoughts. That dog didn't know how long it listened to her ramble, its face full of impatience. The puppy really suffered. I went over and pulled Sue White Pearl away, successfully rescuing the dog. It ran off without a trace. Before leaving, it barked at Sue White Pearl twice. No idea what it said, but it felt like it was cursing. I pulled Sue White Pearl up. She looked at me in disbelief, saying, oh my god, how can a puppy walk? I mistook a dog for a person. Mistook a person for a dog. That's so her style. I took a deep breath, not arguing with her, pulled her to sit by the roadside, and messaged her manager again. if he didn't come soon. I wasn't sure what I'd turn into. So White Pearl hugged me thinking she was hugging a dog. With a sobbing tone she said, "Brother dog, tell me how to win him over." She hugged tighter and tighter. So tight I could barely breathe. I finally couldn't take it and said, "Sue White Pearl, if you don't let go you won't get a boyfriend." So White Pearl pushed me away, her face full of horror saying, "Am I hallucinating? Even dogs can talk now." She said that then suddenly smiled at me. "Got it, dogs can't talk, but I understand dog speech. Proving I'm a dog. Ha ha ha, I'm a dog." Her symptoms, even the emperor couldn't cure. So White Pearl went crazy for a bit. Then suddenly drooped saying, "Does and ha like dogs? If I become a dog, would he still like me?" I hereby declare no. I don't have that particular fetish. And Ha really has skills, making me think about him every day. After saying that, Sue White Pearl stopped making a fuss, quietly sitting by the roadside. The streetlight shone on her. I leaned on her shoulder. The next day, Sue White Pearl sobered up completely amnesiac, totally forgetting what she did last night. She cautiously asked. I honestly answered, "You didn't do much. Just treated me like a brother." So she wanted to be brothers with me. So White Pearl was so anxious she video called me. I picked up. She frantically explained. I was drunk and talking nonsense. Told me not to misunderstand, seeing I wasn't swayed. She finally panicked. Last night I meant to use the alcohol to confess, but accidentally drank too much. You ruined it, she said, and I slowly spoke. So White Pearl logically. Last night should have been our first day together. So White Pearl took half a day to react. In disbelief she said, "What did you say? I meant to agree to you last night. But you got so drunk you didn't recognize me. More accurately, you didn't recognize humans." So White Pearl nervously swallowed, tentatively asking, "What about now?" I smiled, saying now is the first second we're together. After getting together with Sue White Pearl, she was so thrilled she wanted to announce it to the world. Coincidentally, Ginger Will thought the same. He compared me and Sue White Pearl getting together to the Everest of his ship-shipping career. So White Pearl looked at me every day and giggled foolishly. Ginger Will looked at me and Sue White Pearl every day giggling foolishly. Then we got dug up by netizens. To be honest, it's quite absurd. Ginger Will went to Sue White Pearl, asking for the photo she took earlier, and used it as his profile picture, posting daily in the CP Super topic. Some sharpied netizens, based on the setup and seating chart that day, and the distance, deduced the photo was taken by Sue White Pearl, stirring up 1,000 waves. The deeper they dug, the more they found. Even digging up the first time I met Sue White Pearl, the bag mix-up incident. In the end they concluded I was the one Sue White Pearl confessed to. Sue White Pearl and I were considering going public. Just as the film wrapped, drawing massive attention, Sue White Pearl didn't care if the film was a hit. She only cared about our CP. How many fans the super topic gained daily. I asked her why she liked me at first. She thought for half a day and said, "Do you believe in love at first sight?" I shook my head. She leaned in and kissed me. "Now do you believe?" Though we met for the first time, our love was already deep and true.